Welcome to The Big Rich Show. This podcast will focus on conversations with friends and acquaintances within the four-wheel drive industry. Many of the people that I will be interviewing, you may know the name, you may know some of the history, but let's get in depth with these people and find out what truly makes them a four-wheel drive enthusiast. So now's the time to sit back, grab a cold one, and enjoy our conversation.
Whether you're crawling the Red Rocks of Moab or hauling your toys to the trail, Maxxis has the tires you can trust for performance and durability. 4 wheels or 2. Maxxis tires are the choice of champions because they know that whether for work or play, for fun or competition, Maxxis tires deliver. Choose Maxxis. Tread victoriously.
Why should you read 4Low Magazine? Because 4Low Magazine is about your lifestyle, the four-wheel drive adventure lifestyle that we all enjoy. Rock crawling, trail riding, event coverage, vehicle builds, and do-it-yourself tech, all in a beautifully presented package. You won't find 4Low on the newsstand rack, so subscribe today and have it delivered to you. On today's episode of Conversations with Big Rich, we have Pat Gremillion. Pat is one of the OG rock crawlers in competitive rock crawling. He's also a business owner in the four-wheel drive off-road industry and an innovator, and we're going to talk all about Pat's life. And Pat, I want to say thank you so much for coming on board today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have and chance to sit and talk with you. Every time we see each other at Easter Jeep, I always love our conversations. So this will even be better than that because I'm going to learn more about you today than I probably have the whole time I've known you. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So let's jump right in. Where did you grow up, and what were some of the early influences that you had?
Well, I grew up in Louisiana, little town of Baker, and my best friend's father worked for Chicago Bridge and Iron, and Roy and I started welding with his dad when I was about 9 years old. He had a junkyard. We called it a junkyard. He called it a scrap yard. And we got to do anything we wanted to. We'd cut hoods out of cars and drag them around fields. That was our toboggans and, mud. I mean, it was beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. And that's where I started welding. And then, oh Lord, I went in the Marine Corps when I was 16.
Wow, that's early.
Yeah, it was one of those either or things. Back then you had to draft, and then the Marine Corps, or somebody wanted to talk to you over here.
Right.
It wasn't that I was a bad kid. It's just I was restless.
Understood.
And let's see. After that, I got out of the Marine Corps, met my wife, got married, and doing some odd jobs, different things. And welding was always the principal moneymaker. And welding started a welding company, and we never looked back. It's just work.
Right.
Put your head down and go.
So in school in Louisiana, you grew up in a time where there was a lot of tech classes. I know my dad went to a tech high school.
Yes, they had them there. Yes, they did. We had tech classes. Rich, I won't say I was a troubled kid. It's just I was one of those kids that thought they knew everything.
All right, I get it.
And it's kind of when I left home, my dad goes, when you hear that loud pop, call me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And so it took a while, and then you realize what that loud pop was. It's your head coming out of your ass. And but it took a while. It took a long damn time.
All right. Well, when you were in the military there with the Marine Corps,
Yeah.
Where were you stationed?
Camp Pendleton. I was in Camp Pendleton and Pioneer Battalion and Demolitions.
Demolitions, cool.
We blew things up.
And what time frame was that?
60 to 64.
Okay.
I got out right as things were popping.
So you didn't have to go to the jungle.
I did not have to go to the jungle. No, I was fortunate enough. And actually, when I was in the Marine Corps, I met some friends, and they're in there and everything. And somebody said, "Did you ever play football?" And yeah, and so I played 4 years of football for the Marine Corps.
Wow.
I know. People go, the Marine Corps don't have a football team. Yeah, we did. Each battalion has a football team. And buddy, that was some rough. Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of protection, and they didn't mind you drinking a beer or two in between. It was something to see.
So you did demolitions. That didn't come about and help you after the Marine Corps, did it? You didn't blow anything up? Okay, good.
No.
All right.
No, welding was, well, I've always loved welding. I just love it, and I still love it. I could make a living out of it, and everybody finds that's something that they can make a living and earn money for their family.
Right.
And I chose high welding, high rises, tall, 60, 100 foot, nothing bothered me. And there was very few people that wanted to go that high. Very few people wanted to do that. But that didn't bother me. And I put together a crew for 17 years in Los Angeles. We had a ball.
Walking the high buildings.
Well, high buildings, anything in the air. I don't care what it was. It was, Rich, it was like living a dream. When you pulled in as a welder on a high rise, everybody gets the hell out of the way because, they don't work below you, and they can't go any further up until you weld it. You follow me?
Yep.
And so when the welders were there, we were prima donnas, man. Back then, we were primo. When we pulled in, it was like, get the hell out of our way.
Rock stars and celebrities, huh?
It was, boy, I mean, yeah, get this shit done. Get this welded so we can get the next floor up, and we can get this and we can get that. And boom, I had some great kids working for me. And
that's awesome. So where did the off-road come in?
Well, when I left California in '89 and moved to Colorado, I didn't have anything to do, kind of, and I had bought started Premier Power Welder, and I needed a vehicle, and so I had done a little bit of jeeping and stuff, with my father-in-law, with the PullPal and so forth, and so a friend of mine had a Bronco, and why I chose Bronco, I cannot tell you. It was just there. And I brought it home. My wife's aunt had a 1986 Mustang. And I know you're going to laugh, but she was a school teacher in Pasadena. And she would do street racing. It was like the Beach Boys, the little old lady from Pasadena.
Yep.
That was her. Honest to goodness, it was her. She would go out and street race, and if you beat her in one of her Mustangs, it was, don't go away, I'll be right back. So when she died, she gave me that Mustang.
Oh, wow.
When I brought that particular Mustang here to Colorado, everybody wanted it. But Rich, it didn't have air. It didn't have anything other than the Mustang and engine. And I just went, somebody's going to get killed in this snow and ice. And this thing is bullets. So one night, drinking a beer or two, I went, I know what I'm going to do. So I ripped the engine out of that Mustang and put it in the Bronco. And we never looked back.
Wow.
Never looked back.
When did you get involved with, you said PullPal. So which was first, PullPal or Premier?
PullPal was first. I was welding I had worked for my father-in-law. We had a tool and die shop. He had a tool and die shop in El Segundo, California. A lot of aircraft, a lot of stuff. To give you a little bit of idea of who my father-in-law was, my father-in-law, you know the single-handle faucet that you turn left and right and get hot and cold water?
Yes.
My father-in-law was an inventor. He invented that.
Oh, wow.
He invented the heart-lung machine. He invented a turboprop for Howard Hughes. On the plans and everything, it says Rosswood, Howard Hughes. My father-in-law was an inventor. He invented things. And the way the PullPal came about was he was from Blythe, California, and I think you know where that's at.
Oh, yes.
And that's where he was born and raised. And have you ever had an idea and you didn't know how to get there, and then all of a sudden about 2:00 in the morning you wake up and you go, I got it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. You understand where I'm going? Well, he did that, but he would do it almost in a trance, in sleep. He had his machine shop, and he would drive out in the desert and just thinking of things. And he was a large guy, and he wouldn't take any water or anything with him, because he'd wake up, and just take a ride at midnight. And one morning he came out, came to, I guess you'd say, and his story, no water, no nothing, he didn't even know where he was, and he was stuck. And he came back to the shop, got back into El Segundo, and he goes, nobody will ever get stuck again. And we go, what the hell's the old man talking about now? And we hammered out the first PullPal. I have it here at the house. We made the first PullPal back then.
Wow.
And Rich, it was something that we made for friends, because he was in the Jeeping Club in El Segundo. And we'd make one for this guy, make one for that guy. And then we put it away for a while, because I had my business going, and him and I had separated. And I can't tell you exactly, if somewhere around 1986 or so, we got back together. And he goes, here, think you can do anything with this? And my wife and I were, laughing and say, hell yeah, well, yeah. Because I was racing my motorcycles at the time. I was playing with Husqvarna and stuff back in the desert, and, with the desert nights and checkers and stuff. And so we were out there, and so we took it and started playing with it. And I have had the time of my life. I have met the nicest people. It's, well, the four-wheel drive industry.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, Rich, if somebody told you could make a living having this much fun, you wouldn't believe them.
True.
You wouldn't believe them. And so I had intended to, I had a Freightliner at the time and a big rig, and I was going to travel around and show my PullPal, show people. I haven't had to. It's all word of mouth and advertising and so forth with the magazines, what I meant.
Right.
I honestly, Rich, I don't think I've pulled a line on a PullPal more than 4 or 5 times to show someone.
Huh.
That's almost 30 years, bud.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So so from PullPal, you got into the you were welding anyway. And
yes.
So
right.
that's how
Premier
is that how Premier came about? Okay.
Yeah, Premier came about. There was a man named Harry Robinson who had Link Arc. I was at a show at Off-Road Expo, and he had a couple there. And I looked at him and went, yeah, right, I'm a welder, and just think, come on. Well, we went outside. I welded with it. I bought 2 that day. I had little trucks, we'd run out over here for a gate or something for somebody, stupid. And so when we left California, I got a call from a guy, And he made me an offer to have my own welder. And so that particular day, he called. I remember telling him, if you're serious and you're talking about what I think you're talking about, don't go to bed tonight. I'll be there. My wife and I jumped in the car and we ran to Dallas that day. And that's how Premier got started. You know, we started Premier. He made me one of his partners, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
And he said, think of me as General Motors. You're buying a dealership. There's only a few. They're like Ferraris. And I'll say who has a dealership and who don't have a dealership. And he said, I like the way you have been representing Link Arc and so forth. And he said, I want you to have your own. And so that's what we did. And then, my way of getting it out was to go travel and find the hardest trails at that time where people were braking, you know, like on the dump bump or rocker knocker or the rock pile over Pritchard. I'd go sit there all day, kind of like, you know, like a buzzard, you know, waiting for them to break. And then I'd weld them up. And then, you know, people would go, I've never seen that. And then you'd explain to them, you know, what it was and so forth. And that was it. You know, that it started working. I never charged anybody for any welding that I do, no matter what I did out there. I was basically showing my product, showing them how it worked.
Excellent.
And that was it. That was Premier pretty much. I traveled more. I traveled more with Premier than I did with PullPal. But I meant they were together. But Premier kind of took the stage.
Right.
But PullPal was always the anchor. I mean, it's kind of like we were joking the other day. Somebody said something, and I said, you know, when we first started making these PullPals, we were doing it for friends. And as far as I'm concerned, we still are. You know?
Right. Everybody in the industry, whether, you know, I consider everybody that goes and wheels a friend until they prove to me they're not. So that's, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep. And now we've had, as far as have you ever met George Elliott? Have you ever heard of him?
George Elliott. No.
Okay. George Elliott, back in, I'm going to say 87, 88, George Elliott was a managing editor for off-road magazines.
Okay.
Him and you've heard of Moses Liddell.
Yes.
Willie Worthy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, all right. Jim Ryan. You knew Jim, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Know Jim really well.
Okay. All right. George Elliott was my neighbor. And I had the PullPal. And George came over one day, and I wanted him to see this thing, you know. And I showed it to him, and he goes, leave it right there. Do not move it from that piece of concrete, you know, right in the middle of the garage. He said, don't touch it. He said, I have a guy coming in tonight. And he said, if he says you got something, we're on. Because I was trying to get somebody to look at it in the magazines. Well, Moses Liddell was the guy coming. He came in, he walked around, looked at it, picked it up, did some things. And he said, I want you to meet me next weekend out at the dunes in Oregon, the Oregon dunes up there. All right. Well, Moses took it and beat the hell out of it for the weekend. We were all up there. And Moses wrote me my first article. At the time, I couldn't get too many magazines to even talk to me. You know, I mean, you couldn't get past the girl.
Right.
Once Moses wrote that article, I mean, the doors opened. Dwayne Elliott was George Elliott's son, and he was one of the editors at the time, too, right after that. And Jim Ryan, oh, gosh. I mean, it was like Willie Worthy I mean, I met everybody, but Moses opened the door. Moses and George. And once it did, it was just go.
Can I ask how many you think that you've produced over the years?
Yeah, I've got over 20 out there, 20,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know. I keep track of everything, and it blows my mind that, you know, this happened. I guess you'd say that this could happen. Even it just. I look back. We're talking 30 years.
Right.
You know, now, I mean, it's hard to look back and you know, I don't want to miss anybody's name, but man, there was just so many things happening. We were advertising in 5 magazines a month, and you know how that is. You know, you're just meeting people, and of course, you know, you're giving a lot away. You know, you're giving to this guy and that guy, and Phil Howe helped a lot. Oh gosh, you know, just different stories. You know, just kept you busy.
Right.
It just, I don't know where the days went sometimes. You know, somebody'd say, we're going over to here, we're going to South Dakota, we're going here. Boom, 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 man, we would go. I'd drop it and run.
So let's talk about those early days of wheeling. With you were part of our gang, is that correct?
Well, there's a before the R gang.
Right.
You met Harold off, didn't you?
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Okay. Kind of a funny story about Harold off and how I met him, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely. Tell the story.
I came home from a trip, and my daughter was answering the phones here, and she goes, "Dad, this guy called, wanted a couple of welders, but he was ruder than hell." he just basically, you know, she said, I almost hung up on him, and then this, it, and that, you know, kept telling me what he was saying and stuff, and I went, "Give me his number." And my wife goes, no, it's a customer. I said, "Okay, don't talk to my family like that." Honest to goodness, within a half hour, that phone rang, and he apologized. He said, "I'm so sorry. That's not me. I've had a hell of a day. I've never done anything like that." And you know, I mean, Harold and I met about. I was in South Dakota. We went to the rally in South Dakota with Jason Polly and those guys. And I met Harold, and the rest was history. Him and I hit it off, boy. I liked him a lot. Yeah.
Yep.
And then we ran. He loved wheeling. I loved wheeling. And then we just had a group of older guys, you know, that could go. And I say older, at the time we were 50, you know, 55. And we went a lot. We really, really enjoyed the hell. I would be gone almost 15 to 18 days a month on the road.
That's awesome.
Yeah, wheeling.
So was Frank Curry part of that group?
Oh, Lord, yeah. You know, when you're coming into the industry, there's people that you have heard of, looked up to, and you think, I'll never be in that group. You know, I'll never, you know, and my God, it just, Frank and I clicked. We would go out, and just different guys, and you just, and we would just, you know, I mean, it was like, okay, I'm going to be here next weekend. And, you know, we'd all just, okay, I'll see you there. You know, and we'd all head out. We had a thing that we would meet in January at the Hammers. And we would all go there. You've been to the shows and you're there. You never get to talk to any of the other vendors like yourself, like at Easter. You say hi, and then next thing you know, it's Sunday night, and you're going home, and you've maybe had a beer with you. That was it.
Yep.
So what we put together with Frank is we'd all meet at the Hammers. You couldn't talk business. If you said anything about business, it was a $5 fine. With the kitty, right?
Perfect.
We had paintball guns. We did stupid shit. Just had fun and visited. We would all cook something. But that was our January meeting of the vendors, and that was what we did every year for years and years.
So name some of the other guys that you wheeled with. Was Jack McCullen one of those?
Jack McCullen. Oh, my Lord. Yeah. You talk about, okay.
Out of
Jack,
Arizona.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember. Was his wife Cindy?
Sandy. Yep.
Sandy. Yes. Yep. As a matter of fact, yeah. You knew Jack very well?
Oh, yes. Jack and Sandy helped me out when I first started CalRocks back in the day.
Wow.
Sandy was like ranches for ARCA, his land use person with BLM, and she did the same thing for me. And then the boys competed with us, and Jack always did recovery. So yeah, they were real close friends.
You're gonna bring some memories. Oh gosh. Yes. Yeah. Jack McCullen. Well, I mean, Ned Bacon, Jim Allen, Ed Forston, I mean, I've been very, very fortunate. I've met a lot of people, yourself, and just different. Everybody's been terrific. I don't think I ever met anybody that I really don't care for.
That's awesome.
I look back, when we were running to Farmington, doing the first crawls and stuff and playing, and again, back then we broke. I'm looking at some of the stuff that's being built now. I don't think they break much, do they?
No, they don't.
It's like, I'm glad I lived and had the welder and everything at that time, because, man, I don't think I'd be selling that welder to too damn many people right now.
Really, at least in the competition scene, somebody may break like a stub shaft. If they roll over, they may, tear off a shock mount or something, but they rarely miss a course during the day of competition.
Yeah.
And we're running, we run pretty fast nowadays. We're done with a day of competition. We're, if we're 4 or 5 hours from start to finish, that's a long day. So
yeah,
a lot less recoveries than in the old days.
Well, when they were first starting, and I say after we got into it a while, and they started to get pretty competitive. I remember talking to, I can't even think of who it was. It was, well, like I told him, I said, you've got a group of guys here, and it wasn't a large group. I said, but all we want to do is come compete. If it takes them 5 minutes, give us 10 minutes. And make sure we're done at 5, because at 5 I want to have the barbecue on and start sipping some cocktails. I said, it's not. It wasn't the money. It was just camaraderie.
Yep.
And I said, just give us a chance to come out. But there's no way that I can react and compete with a 20-year-old. Just give me a little more time on the course. Cut the course for me. Something. I don't know. Just let us go out and play. But they didn't want to do that, so we just kind of faded out.
So back in the days of pre-Pro Rock, with the like Warren Nationals or BFG Nationals or whatever they were called, each one of those, that I think I first met you at what was then the Warren Nationals at the Hammers.
Oh my gosh.
And you
Oh,
had
yeah.
you were competing in a Bronco, I believe.
Yeah. All I had was a Bronco at that time. I mean, Bronco. Yeah. Oh God, I remember that. Yeah. Yep.
And
Yep.
that's
That
when
was
you and I
that,
first met. Of course,
that
we
was the
didn't
only one
become
there.
friends until later than that, but
Yeah, that was the only one there at the Hammers at the time.
yep.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah. Boy, you're going back. Wow. Rich. And I hate to say it, but I was meeting so many people, and it was, I had to put a face. Somebody say, "Do you know this person?" And I'd say, "Give me a picture of him," because I couldn't, I just wasn't that good with names, to remember that many names but like you just did with Jack, gosh, uh, oh, we had a ball. We just had a great time. It was fast.
I'm the same way with names. I'm very fortunate that my wife is very, very good with names. And
Yeah.
so we have a little thing that we do because I can't remember the names. If I
Hmm.
don't introduce her to somebody new, then she'll extend her hand out and say, "Hi, I'm Shelly, Rich's wife," and introduce so get their name so that I can have it without looking like a complete idiot. So
Yeah.
it's it works pretty well that way. Of course, there's been a couple people that have walked up to that she's gone to introduce themselves to us, and I'm like, nope. We don't need to know that person. Because there's a few people out there that I could say I probably don't want to ever see again.
Well, I'm fortunate. I have not met anyone in the four-wheel drive industry or wheeling that I haven't. I mean, I don't have any. I mean, there's nobody I dislike. I mean, everybody has treated me well. Um, it's been a hell of a ride. It's been fun.
That's great.
I'll tell you a story if you got Darren Skeldon.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
You know Darren. You
Yep.
know Darren Skeldon. We were at SEMA one time, and I was sitting with Walker, and I had given Darren Skeldon, was going to Baja. I'd given him some PullPals to take over there and play with, and he came up and can you cuss on this? Anyway,
Yes, you can.
he says he came over to their table and he said, "I want to talk to you about that fucking PullPal." And buddy, I mean, it was like E.F. Hutton. That room went quiet. And I'm thinking to myself, no, please. Not, why now? I mean, not now. Come on. And then he told me, it saved my life. And I felt, honest to goodness, the water almost hit the floor. I was just, he told a story about how he had some Japanese guys, I think. And he had taken them over there. He had taken them out on the beach and told them to follow him. Well, when he got up top, he looked back and they were heading out toward the ocean. And he said that if he hadn't had the PullPal, he wouldn't have been able to get those Jeeps out before the tide came up. And he said, all I could think of was, my dad's going to kill me. But that, I never, I mean, every time I see him, I think of that. I mean, he scared the hell out of me that day. I couldn't imagine why he would come up and say that, if it wasn't bad.
Right.
Yeah. But he was just, oh man.
Let's discuss areas that you like to wheel. Where's the places that if you get a chance, you always want to make sure you go back to? Or some place that you haven't gone back to that you do?
Well, for beauty, Rubicon.
Yeah.
If I had to have a trip once a year, it'd be the Rubicon. Now, whether it's the way I can remember it, I don't know. The last time I was there, it had gotten pretty strict, I guess you'd say. But we used to meet with Ned and some guys and Rick and them about once a year up there, and we would all do, from the ice house, we'd all go play on the Rubicon. And that has always been my favorite trail. I don't think I have a bad. I love Montrose. Montrose has some awesome wheeling in it, because it's close here. But I mean, it also has good wheeling. I love the hammers. I love to go over and just sit in the hammers and just play. The thing lately is that what I really enjoy is that I guess you'd say I was able to build some machines that I can take people over there and let them drive and just sit back and watch their eyes and watch them when they get in a vehicle that's capable, and they're having fun, and they understand what this is all about. And it's been more fun for me lately is just watching people drive my rigs.
That's cool. My wheeling is all about scenic wheeling anymore. I'm not interested in having to beat my stuff up. I do enough of that at the events, doing recoveries, that I put my little Cherokee in places where it probably doesn't need to belong, but it has to. And then luckily I get at some of the events I have people come out with their buggies that will do the recoveries for me. But there's the Cherokee's always being used in various ways that it wasn't designed. But we enjoy, Shelley and I now enjoy the scenic wheeling.
I'm right with you. I'm right there with you. My Jeep that I built is not a crawler. I mean, like a rock crawler. I can do things with it, but I don't want to. I have, how long? I think 88 or 89 was my first year in Moab. And my wife told me a couple years ago, if you do Pritchard or you do this or you do the Golden Spikes, we're not going. I want to see something. We have seen Moab from a different perspective I didn't know was there.
Right.
And it's beautiful. I mean, I can see why people are just they plan their whole vacation around it. I'm with you though. I've done. I don't need to do honestly, Rich. I was out with my son and my grandson, and they were doing some hard stuff, and this guy came up and goes, "Are you going to do this?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that." And he goes, "Well, I ain't scared," and it took me back for a minute, and you go, "Scared has nothing to do with it." I thought I was 78 years old, son. I don't feel like I used to.
Exactly.
I mean, I've been there, I've done that, and I got all my fingers and all my toes, and I don't need to do this shit no more.
And if he'd seen some of the places you've been and what you've done, he would be scared.
That's right. That's what and my grandson said something to me, and I said, yeah, I don't need to say anymore. I mean, but scared had nothing to do with it. It's smarter now. But we never thought. I don't think I ever really give it any thought to rolling or getting hurt. We're not moving that. I mean, now you guys are moving fast, but back then we weren't. We were crawling.
Right.
I mean, so if you rolled over, you just laid on your side or something. Maybe tipped over, but I don't think the chance of getting hurt was really slim.
Yeah, there's the couple of times I've been hurt were in somebody else's Jeep or rig, whether I was driving or passenger, and a vehicle that I did not necessarily fit well in or have the belts adjusted quite properly are the times that I've gotten hurt with rollovers. So and I have to take full blame for that, because I should have taken the time and made sure the harnesses fit properly and that I was snugged in and everything. I do that now. I'd ride with some guys that, we go and do some really gnarly trails out in Arizona, or we do out at the Hammers, or even the way we drive Pritchett and then behind the rocks, and in cars that are, like you said, they're built more to go fast, but they can crawl.
Yeah.
I make sure that the belts and harnesses are functioning properly and fit me properly. Otherwise, I just don't ride with them anymore.
Well, when you said that, I have I have a problem with riding. I will not ride with anybody. If I can't drive, and that comes back to when I was flying, if I am not flying and I'm not the pilot, I don't fly. I mean, if I go down, it's my fault. That's when somebody was asking me who worked on my rigs and who did this and who did that. And I told them I do. And they go, how? What? And I said, you don't understand. If I get hurt in this rig, it's my fault.
Right.
Nobody, that bolt, that nut, that well, that's mine. I don't ever want my wife or anybody to come up and go, this happened here. I mean, it was my fault. I do all my own stuff.
You're your own stunt coordinator.
Well, my stunt, but I meant, I do all my own weld. I do all,
Yep.
I mean, if I got an idea, I do it. It's me. And I don't, I mean, that's just me now. That's just, I guess you say a phobia or what, but that's the way I am. I have to do it all.
I understand. Let's talk about some of the rigs that you've driven over the years. I know that when you were when you were first competing, that was the suspension was pretty stock in that Bronco, wasn't it?
Well, no. I put the 4-link in the rear.
Okay.
In '96. All right. And do you know Jason Polly in South Dakota?
Oh, yes.
50 Customs? Okay. I used to go over there and wheel with those guys. And Jason, at the time, this was like 96, I think. Anyway, he had taken snowmobile rams and put on his Bronco in the back, in the front, to where if he came to something, he could push his body. It'd raise and lower every side. He could move that thing all over. And him and I and Phil Howe was there at the time, and we were joking and telling, and I came home, and I was talking to Phil and told him I'm going to narrow my Bronco. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he called me that night and he said, "You're too late, buddy." He said, "Somebody's already done that." I said, "There's only one other person that would do something." That's Jason Polly. He said, "That's right." That's right, Jason. I took my Bronco that following week. I made a deal with Jason, and we did some trading, and he cut my Bronco the next week. He narrowed it, shortened it, and everything. And Polly did that for me, and then I came home and put it all together.
Nice.
But yeah, Jason, I love. Now that's another fun run, South Dakota.
Yep.
I haven't been there in a while, but we always made South Dakota. And the old Chili Challenge. Oh my gosh, Chili Challenge. That was one of our must. We always did the Chili Challenge. Yeah. I was very fortunate to lead some of the trails over there at the Chili Challenge. Harold and I used to, we ran together. So I mean, when we said lead, it was either him or me up front, and we'd just bounce around and all that. And a funny story, I don't know, Lauren Healy. I was at the Chili Challenge one year with Harold, and Lauren came up, and he go, "We're gonna wheel with you, old man. We're gonna wheel with you," and so forth. And have you seen Lauren, his tats and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, some of his guys in his group are pretty rough looking, And
Yep.
I remember when they left, and I looked at Harold and I went, "Isn't that great? God damn it, I got to take care of all these guys all day today," And I'm telling you, we got out on that trail, and all I heard was, "Get out of the way, old man! Get out of the way! Go eat your lunch! Get out of the way!" I mean, they wouldn't let us do anything. And that's how I met Lauren Healy and his guys. And he came up that night. They had some beer and stuff, and he goes, "Our group is 667, yeah,
669, 667, yeah, something like that.
667, yeah." And I went, 667. He's, "Yeah, we're one better than the devil." My wife about had a fit. But that's when I met Lauren and stuff. But again, how do you? People ask you why you do things, and all I can tell them is you can't buy this feeling. I mean, it was like when we were racing motorcycles, and they said, "How can you do that?" And you go, "When you're cutting across that desert and shit on a bike or in a rig, you can't buy the feeling. That is the most, man, you're screaming at yourself and hollering and singing, and you just can't duplicate that."
You said you're 78 now. Is that correct?
Right. Correct.
And how many more trips to Moab are you going to do?
Many as I can, but
10, 20?
As many as I can. I
As many
won't
as you
miss a
can.
one.
That's awesome.
Well, I tell you, a couple of years ago, I told Danny, I went over there, and Danny said something. I said, Danny, I'm just going to have a few beers with you, and I'm going to sit here. And if I fall asleep in the sun, leave me alone. I don't need to go out and do that anymore. I enjoy, the people. I really do. But I don't know. I'm into right now making some videos for the PullPal. That's my big push lately.
Nice.
I want to do some fun things, with the PullPal. Just some. Have you ever seen Trunk Monkey?
Yes.
Okay. I want to kind of do a trunk monkey where you have a monkey sitting on the side of you, you get stuck and the monkeys slap one another and throw bananas at one another, and all of a sudden the monkey's got to take the PullPal out and you're out. You know what I mean? just something, I don't know why my head's just going there, but I'm having fun.
That's good.
Having a lot of fun. We've been fortunate enough. We've got another one. We're working on a double PullPal now, and it might be out sometime this year, hopefully. But we've been blessed. Really blessed.
Well, I tell you what, when you get that double PullPal and you're ready to start marketing it, let me know, because I'd love to have it as a new product in our magazine in 4 Low. So
I'm going to tell you what, I'll send you a picture. We have it. What's that?
the print type thing?
Yes,
Okay.
where you actually have a physical PullPal. They did it for me, and so we have that, and I can send you a picture of what it will look like.
Okay.
And as a matter of fact, I got it laid out here on the bench, and my son and I are going over some stuff, and it's something that he came up with. And he's got some ideas, boy.
That's Max?
Yeah, it's Max, yeah. Max is a lot like his grandfather. He's got some ideas. Man.
That's awesome.
It is.
It's great that the next generation can take over and continue.
Isn't that something? I'm really enjoying sitting back and watching a lot,
Right.
and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Yep.
So were there any other products that you did besides the Premier Power Welder and the PullPal?
We looked at a few. We played. Max came up with Greg Henderson, and I don't know how that all transpired. They were going to do something. We couldn't do it. Our insurance said there's no way we could do it. So we got out of it. We stepped back out of that. I've had a lot of opportunities to do other things, but we're just mom and pop, and I only have so many hours in a day. And we sold the welder. I had told Jan when it got to be where it wasn't any fun, if she wanted, we'd get rid of it. And then the drive-by wires and different things came into the vehicles, and it just seemed like you were on the phone, trying to help people troubleshoot this, troubleshoot that, and this. It got to where it wasn't any fun. Right. So I sold that to Ace Alternators, and they're doing real well.
And that's the guys out of Yucca Valley?
Yes, that's it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So then, how many grandkids do you have?
Oh, Lord.
A lot?
2, 3, 4. No, not a lot.
Okay.
5 or 6. I'd have to stop and think. It's 6 or 7. I hate to say it like that, but I don't remember birthdays, and I don't remember a lot of, people go, do you remember this and you remember that? And I have to really sit and think about, no, I don't. My mind, I don't know. I love being out in the shop. I don't relate to a lot of people, I hope I don't give people, an attitude, like I have an attitude or something if I don't, get in on some conversation or something. But I see something now, I'll start thinking of other things, and it's just the way I guess I'm programmed.
Yep.
And you just go, I'm not ignoring you, but man, I have things I think about, and that's always on my mind. Hell, I'll drive all the way to California and I won't even turn the radio on. Drive my wife crazy. Won't let her. I just sit and think about things.
Yeah, that's the way we are. We don't drive with the radio on. Very, very rarely.
Isn't that something? Isn't that the way?
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially like on the third day of driving across the country.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's when the ideas start to come out. Some of them aren't necessarily great ideas.
Yeah.
but there's still ideas, and we write them down. I don't think I'll ever get to all the ideas that we have. We're trying to do some of them.
Yeah. But Frank, when you was talking about Frank Curry, Frank would break down sometime, and I'd go up there like I was going to work on him with the welder or something, and he'd go, "Nope, I'm going home. Curries don't break." You never see anybody work. Well, when Frank was around, you never worked on a Curry vehicle. It don't break. That was his thing. Nope, buddy, we'll drag it all the way out, but you will not work on it. There'll be no pictures of this yet.
I'm glad I'm not in the parts side of the industry then.
Oh, Lordy. Frank was quite a guy. He was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah. And but no, I don't think the PullPal has been around. I think we made our first PullPal in 1967.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But that's how long it took us before we sat it on the bench, put it up, put it away, play with it, different people and all that. But it took almost 20-something years before we broke it out. And started making it.
That's it. That's a good piece of history right there.
I mean, been around a long time.
So how long have you and Jan been together?
57 years.
57 years. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. She ran my welding business, and she runs this business.
She's a smart lady.
She is. I'm not going. Yeah, she is. There's no doubt about it. I mean, yeah.
I've got one that keeps me out of trouble.
Yeah. She's always. Jan can survive on 3 hours a night sleep. She will not get to bed before 1 o'clock, and if that phone rings, she'll pick it up if it's 11 o'clock at night. And I go, why, baby? She goes, it's impulse buying. If they want to call me at 11 o'clock at night, that means they might want it.
Yep.
And I went, okay. So she's doing something all the time. But that's the way she was when she my welding business. She was always right there. I needed something. She was my runner, everything, running anything I needed. Always there, doing the books, doing this. Yeah.
And so where are you located at?
Carbondale, Colorado.
Carbondale. So you're on the west slope.
Yeah.
Okay.
About 90 miles from Junction.
Okay.
Grand Junction. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to find a particular place up on a hill. I live up on a mountain, and I was very fortunate. Built my daughter's house next to me, one of my daughters, and then I built mine and got to watch my grandkids run across the fields and come over and tear the shop up, do stuff, and it's been fun. Been a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, Pat, is there anything else that you would like to add that we haven't touched on?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. People ask, how long are you going to do this and how long? I'm going to do this as long as I can. I mean, it's fun. I never want to give up seeing the people that I guess you'd say, my second life, after work, start four-wheeling, and I really enjoy seeing the old friends and the new friends, and building the PullPal just keeps my mind active. It just keeps everything functioning, and I'm having fun. As long as I'm having fun, I'll be out here.
Excellent. So are you going to Easter Jeep this
year? Yes, I am.
You are? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, I will miss you. We are not making it to Moab this year for Easter Jeep. We are not stuck in Texas, but we have decided to stick ourselves in Texas.
Didn't you buy?
Yeah, we have property up in Mason. We own a hotel there.
Yeah, right.
Right by where Katemsi and Wolf Caves are at, and we're doing our first event of the season in Mason. So we decided to stay. We're down in Port Aransas right now. We bought a floating house, and and the house is called the home office. It's a 48-foot long Chris Craft Catalina, and so we traded in, not traded in, but during the season, we're in the Taj Mahal, or the big semi-truck, and now in the off-season, we've got a boat. So we're sitting down here in Corpus Christi area in the bay, and just outside of the Gulf of Mexico. And so we're enjoying the sunshine. And
you're a man after my own heart, buddy.
Too many years of not knowing what I wanted to do, and now I know what I want to do. So
I've never had a boat, but that has always been in the back of my mind. When I had my welding business in Los Angeles, one of the ways that I sold my business was I'd go in and I'd book a houseboat for a couple of 3 weeks or so, and I'd go to, bid these jobs and stuff, and I was always kind of like, I got this houseboat, and I can't go on this houseboat. I can't, and I don't know what I'm going to do. It wouldn't cost you anything, man, if you want to take your family and take it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these guys would go, well, hell, you'd let me have that houseboat? I said, man, I can't go. I got to work and all that. And damn it, Rich, I got so much work doing that stuff, but I never went on the damn houseboat. But it was, I guess you'd say, a selling feature, helped me get the jobs.
There's nothing like enticement.
I know. Graft is everywhere.
No, it's only graft if it's illegal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, there wasn't nothing illegal about it. It's just that, you kind of set them up. You found out they like to go boating and stuff. Next thing you know, they had a week on a houseboat, and I had a job.
There you go.
And so, but I always wanted one. I always wanted to go on one.
Well, come fall, we'll be back here in Port Aransas, Texas, just outside of Corpus Christi. So next fall through spring, if you're in the area, stop on by and we'll take you out for a spin.
Well, I can't help. I mean, with this COVID.
Oh, no.
I've got a condo sitting here on wheels, buddy. It's just nobody wants you to go anywhere. They don't want you to come see them. My kids are, they have their businesses, and they're afraid that if I go out and get COVID, then they're going to have to shut their businesses down for 14 or whatever the hell days. So, in other words, they can't do that. And they've got you locked down pretty good.
Yeah. I think all that's coming to a head,
God.
you might say. And will be behind us here shortly hopefully by the end of the summer, beginning of the fall.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah. Well, Pat, thank you very much for spending some time with us this afternoon, and it was a pleasure talking with you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine. I sit here. It's kind of like, I live up on this damn hill, and if somebody comes up here, they are either lost or they know me. That's how many people don't come up here. I mean, and you go, I don't see anybody anymore, man. I mean, it's like I'm a hermit up here.
Well, and unfortunately with this COVID, it's, like you said, people aren't traveling and exploring like they used to.
True. But there's a lot of guys helped me with PullPal, helped us, I'd say, with PullPal. And oh my gosh, it goes from David Freiberger, Payway, Tom Collins. Oh my God, I could go on with a list of people that without any of them, I don't know what I'd have done. We were just fortunate enough to meet people and everything worked.
That's awesome. Well, Pat, thank you again, and we will talk. Hopefully, I'll see you in Moab in 2022.
All right, take care of yourself, buddy.
All right, you too, and
All
say
right.
hello to the family. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
If you enjoy these podcasts, please give us a rating. Share some feedback with us via Facebook or Instagram, and share our link among your friends who might be like-minded. Well, that brings this episode to an end. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you next week with Conversations with Big Rich. Thank you very much.